Covering a third of the entire surface of our planet and holding more water than all the other oceans of the world combined, there is a single body of water so vast that every continent on Earth could fit inside it with room to spare. It is the largest, the deepest, and the oldest ocean on the planet, and within it lives an astonishing wealth of life. This is a place where the fastest strike in the entire animal kingdom shatters shells in the blink of an eye, where millions of small fish swirl into living spheres as hunters tear into them from every side, where the ocean's top predator has learned to kill the great white shark itself, and where, in the crushing darkness far below, the largest predator on Earth dives to do battle with a giant. It stretches from the ice of the Arctic to the edge of Antarctica, and it plunges to depths that would swallow the tallest mountains on land without a trace. It is ringed by fire, shaken by volcanoes, and filled with more life than we may ever fully know. And it has a name, the Pacific. If you enjoy this journey with us, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating quality content for you. Leave a comment below and tell us what you thought of the video. We would love to discuss it together. Let's begin. To understand the life of the Pacific, you first have to grasp its sheer, almost unimaginable size. This single ocean is larger than every piece of land on the planet put together. It covers nearly half of all the water on Earth, and at its deepest, in a trench that plunges almost 11 kilometers down, it is deep enough to drown the highest mountain in the world with more than a kilometer of water to spare. The Pacific is a world of many layers. Near its coasts and islands lie the sunlit shallows and the reefs, warm and bright, crowded with color and with life, where the hunters and the hunted live side by side among the rocks and the sand. Here, in the reach of the sun, is where most of the ocean's animals make their home. Beyond the shallows lies the open ocean, the vast blue expanse that stretches for thousands of kilometers, seemingly empty, yet crossed by some of the fastest and most powerful hunters in the sea, and home to the great shoals of small fish on which so much of ocean life depends. And beneath it all lies the deep, a cold, black world of crushing pressure where the sunlight never reaches, and where creatures stranger than any on the surface make their living in the dark. This ocean is also a place of fire. Around its edges runs a great ring of volcanoes and earthquakes known as the Ring of Fire, where the very floor of the ocean is born and destroyed. It is a restless, powerful, and endlessly rich world. Let us begin among the reefs and the shallows, with one of its most intelligent inhabitants. In the cold, rich waters of the northern Pacific lives the largest octopus in the world, a creature of such intelligence and such strange biology that it seems to belong to another planet entirely. It has 3 hearts, blue blood, and the ability to vanish before your eyes. This is the giant Pacific octopus. This is an animal of real size. Its arms can span more than 4 meters from tip to tip, and large individuals can weigh over 50 kilograms, making it by far the biggest octopus on Earth. And yet, because its body has no bones at all, it can squeeze its enormous bulk through any gap large enough to fit its beak, the only hard part of its entire body, disappearing into cracks and dens no larger than an orange. Its biology is stranger still. It has 3 hearts, 2 to pump blood through its gills and 1 to drive it around the rest of the body, and its blood is blue, colored by the copper it uses to carry oxygen through cold, dark water. And when a predator such as a seal or a large fish finally corners it, the octopus has one last trick. It fires a thick cloud of black ink into the water, blinding and confusing its attacker, and in the same instant jets away in the opposite direction, changing color as it goes until it has vanished completely against the reef. Its intelligence is genuine and remarkable. The giant Pacific octopus can solve puzzles, open jars, recognize individual human faces, and escape from sealed tanks. Much of its nervous system is spread out through its 8 arms, each lined with hundreds of suckers that can taste and touch, so that in a sense, each arm can think and act partly on its own. But it is when the octopus hunts that its true power shows. Gliding silently across the seafloor, it changes the color and texture of its skin in an instant to melt into the rocks, then pounces, throwing the web of its arms over a crab or a clam like a living net. It drags the struggling prey beneath its body, and where a shell blocks the way, it drills straight through it with its beak and injects a paralyzing venom. It is powerful enough to take on small sharks, wrapping them in its arms and overwhelming them in a silent struggle on the ocean floor. The giant Pacific octopus lives a short and dramatic life. A female will lay tens of thousands of eggs in her den and then guard them without ever leaving to feed, slowly starving as she tends them until they hatch and she dies. Brilliant, powerful, and utterly alien, the giant Pacific octopus is one of the great minds of the sea. Gliding just above the sandy seafloor, or lying hidden beneath it with only its eyes exposed, is a flattened relative of the sharks that carries one of the ocean's most feared weapons in its tail. Graceful and gentle in the water, it is nonetheless an animal to be treated with great respect. This is the stingray. The stingray's body is a broad, flat disc, and it swims by rippling the edges of its wing-like fins in a motion so smooth it seems to fly through the water. Like its cousins the sharks, its skeleton is made not of bone but of cartilage. And like them, it possesses an extraordinary hidden sense. Scattered across its underside are tiny pores that can detect the faint electrical fields given off by living animals, allowing the ray to find prey buried out of sight beneath the sand. To hunt, the stingray glides low over the seafloor, sensing the hidden pulse of a buried crab or clam. Then it stops, and using its fins and a jet of water from its mouth, it excavates the sand, uncovering its prey before crushing it with plates of flattened teeth built for grinding through shell. But it is the stingray's defense that has made it famous. At the base of its long, whip-like tail sits one or more sharp, serrated spines coated in venom. The stingray never uses this weapon to hunt. It is purely for defense. When a predator such as a shark attacks, or when a careless foot comes down on a buried ray, the tail lashes upward with astonishing speed, driving the barbed spine deep into the attacker and delivering a dose of searing venom. It is a warning that few predators forget. Some Pacific stingrays are enormous, their broad wings spanning several meters from tip to tip as they glide through the open water like great underwater kites. And unlike most fish, the stingray does not lay eggs. Its young develop inside the mother and are born fully formed, perfect miniature copies of their parents, able to swim and hunt from the very moment they enter the world. From their first day, they too carry the venomous blade in their tails, armed and ready against the dangers of the reef. For all this, the stingray is not an aggressive animal. It spends its days resting on the bottom, buried in the sand, and only strikes when it feels it has no other choice. Graceful, well-armed, and superbly camouflaged, the stingray is the buried blade of the Pacific shallows. Among the reefs of the Pacific swims a small, slow, almost comical fish that seems, at first glance, entirely defenseless. It cannot swim fast, it has no sharp teeth or claws, and it makes an easy target. And yet it is one of the most dangerous animals in the entire ocean. This is the pufferfish. The pufferfish's most famous trick is its defense. When threatened, it rapidly gulps down large amounts of water, swelling its stretchy stomach until its whole body balloons into a ball, several times its normal size, often bristling with spines. A predator that thought it had found an easy meal is suddenly faced with a spiky sphere far too large to swallow. Faced with this, a shark or other hunter will usually give up and spit the pufferfish out, and the fish deflates and swims calmly away. But the inflation is only the pufferfish's second line of defense. Its first is far deadlier. The pufferfish's body contains one of the most powerful natural poisons known to science, a toxin many times more deadly than cyanide, for which there is no antidote. A single pufferfish carries enough poison to kill several grown adults, and any predator that does manage to swallow one is unlikely to ever make the same mistake again. The pufferfish hides one more surprise, and it is one of the most beautiful sights on the entire sea floor. To attract a mate, the male of one Pacific species spends days tirelessly sculpting the sand into an intricate, perfectly symmetrical circular pattern, meters across, decorated with ridges and valleys and shells. This masterpiece of natural art, built by a fish only centimeters long, exists for one purpose only: to win the approval of a passing female. The pufferfish is a capable hunter in its own right too. Its 4 fused teeth form a hard, powerful beak, strong enough to crack open the shells of crabs, clams, and sea urchins, crunching through armor that would defeat most other fish. And remarkably, it is not born poisonous at all. The pufferfish builds up its deadly toxin over time, drawn from the tiny organisms it eats, storing the poison away in its own body until it becomes one of the most dangerous creatures in the entire sea. Slow, gentle, and armed with a poison beyond compare, the pufferfish proves that in the ocean, the most harmless-looking creatures can be the most dangerous of all. Drifting slowly over the reef, trailing a fan of beautiful feathery fins, is one of the most striking and elegant predators in the Pacific. But that beauty is a warning, for behind the graceful display lies a venomous ambush hunter with a deadly, lightning-fast strike. This is the lionfish. The lionfish is unmistakable, its body marked with bold red and white stripes and crowned with a magnificent array of long, flowing fins. Those fins, however, are not for show. Hidden among them are up to 18 sharp, venomous spines, capable of delivering an intensely painful sting to any animal foolish enough to attack. Thanks to this armament, the lionfish has almost no natural predators, and it drifts across the reef with slow, fearless confidence. Its beauty conceals a patient and deadly hunter. The lionfish preys on smaller fish, and it hunts using those elegant fins in an ingenious way. Spreading them wide like a fan, it slowly herds and corners its prey, using the fins to block off escape routes and drive a small fish into a tight space against the reef. The victim, mesmerized and trapped, does not seem to recognize the danger until it is far too late. And then the lionfish strikes. In a movement so fast it is almost impossible to see, it lunges forward and opens its mouth, and the sudden rush of water sucks the prey straight in, swallowed whole in a fraction of a second. The lionfish can expand its stomach enormously, allowing it to eat prey of surprising size and to consume many victims in a single hunt. The lionfish is also an astonishingly voracious eater. It can swallow prey more than half its own length, and its stomach can stretch to many times its normal size, letting it gorge itself far beyond what most fish could manage in a single hunt. So complete is its confidence in that venomous armor that it hunts openly and without fear, even in broad daylight, drifting slowly and deliberately across the reef without the slightest concern for the larger predators cruising all around it, which have learned to leave the beautiful assassin well alone. Elegant, venomous, and armed with one of the fastest strikes on the reef, the lionfish is a reminder that in the Pacific, some of the most beautiful animals are also among the deadliest. Hovering above the seafloor, its skin rippling with waves of shifting color, is a creature that hunts not with speed or strength, but with one of the most extraordinary abilities in the entire animal kingdom. It can hypnotize its prey. This is the cuttlefish. A relative of the octopus and the squid, the cuttlefish is a master of disguise beyond compare. Its skin contains millions of tiny color-changing cells, and beneath them, muscles that can raise and flatten the skin's texture in an instant. With these, the cuttlefish can transform its appearance in a fraction of a second, matching the color and texture of sand, rock, or coral so perfectly that it seems to vanish entirely. It is one of the finest camouflage artists in the sea, and yet remarkably, it is thought to be completely colorblind. But the cuttlefish uses its shifting skin for far more than hiding. When it hunts, it puts on a display that is almost hypnotic. Closing in on a crab or a shrimp, the cuttlefish sends pulsing waves of color rippling rapidly across its body, a mesmerizing, strobing light show. The prey, seemingly transfixed and confused by the shifting patterns, freezes in place, and in that frozen instant, the cuttlefish strikes. Two long, feeding tentacles, kept coiled and hidden, shoot out at blinding speed, seizing the prey in their suckered tips and dragging it back to the waiting beak. The cuttlefish is also a clever deceiver in matters of the heart. Where large males guard the females, a smaller male will sometimes disguise himself, changing his coloring and even his posture to imitate a female, allowing him to slip right past his larger rivals undetected and mate with the female, while the guard looks the other way. The cuttlefish also sees the world in a way we can scarcely imagine. Though it is likely colorblind, it can detect polarized light, a hidden dimension of vision entirely invisible to us, which may help it pierce the camouflage of its prey and even exchange secret signals with other cuttlefish. Like its cousin the octopus, it lives fast and dies young. Most species surviving only a year or two, burning brightly through a short and dramatic life before they are gone. Intelligent, deceptive, and endlessly changeable, the cuttlefish is the great illusionist of the Pacific, a hunter that conquers its prey with light itself. Tucked into a burrow among the rocks and rubble of the seafloor is a small, brilliantly colored creature that most people have never heard of. Yet it is the holder of two of the most astonishing records in the entire animal kingdom, possessing both the most complex eyes and the fastest strike on Earth. This is the Mantis Shrimp. Let us begin with those eyes, for they are unlike any others in nature. While human eyes see color using 3 types of receptor, the eyes of a mantis shrimp may have as many as 16, and they can see forms of light entirely invisible to us, including ultraviolet and polarized light. Each eye can move independently and judge distance on its own. It is thought that no animal on Earth sees the world in quite the way this small creature does. But it is the mantis shrimp's weapon that is truly the stuff of legend. Folded beneath its body are a pair of club-like limbs, and it can unleash them in a strike so fast and so powerful that it is almost beyond belief. The club accelerates through the water with the speed of a rifle bullet, striking with such force that it not only shatters the shells of crabs and snails, but momentarily boils the water around it, creating a flash of light and a shockwave that can stun prey even if the strike itself misses. This punch is so powerful that in captivity, a mantis shrimp has been known to smash straight through the glass wall of an aquarium. When it targets a crab, the outcome is never in doubt. The shrimp lines up its blow and strikes again and again, hammering through the crab's armored shell as though it were paper, until its meal lies broken open before it. Not every mantis shrimp fights the same way. Some, known as smashers, wield those club-like limbs to bludgeon their prey to pieces, while others, the spearers, are armed instead with barbed, spiny appendages that shoot out to impale soft-bodied fish and shrimp in an instant. Either way, the strike is among the fastest movements made by any living thing. And the mantis shrimp is fiercely territorial, defending its burrow with that same devastating weapon, ready to do battle with any rival bold enough to challenge it for its home. Small, dazzling, and armed with the fastest strike in the ocean, the mantis shrimp is one of the most extraordinary hunters on the entire planet. Leaving the seafloor behind and moving out toward the open water, we meet a sleek, silver hunter built entirely for one thing: a single explosive burst of speed. Motionless one moment and a blur the next, it is one of the most feared ambush predators in the Pacific. This is the Barracuda. The Barracuda has the classic shape of a speed hunter: a long, streamlined, torpedo-like body, powerful muscle, and a mouth full of long, fang-like teeth designed for gripping and slicing. The great Barracuda can reach nearly 2 meters in length, and its silvery sides act like a mirror in the water, helping it to blend into the shimmering open sea and approach its prey unseen. The Barracuda's entire hunting strategy is built on surprise. Rather than chasing its prey over long distances, it hangs almost perfectly still in the water, watching and waiting, relying on its mirror-like camouflage to remain unnoticed. Then, when a smaller fish drifts within range, the Barracuda attacks. In a sudden explosive burst, it accelerates to tremendous speed, covering the distance in the blink of an eye and seizing its victim in those razor-sharp jaws. Such is the force and sharpness of the strike that a large barracuda can slice a smaller fish clean in half. Young barracuda often gather in enormous schools, sometimes spiraling together in vast, shimmering tornado-like formations that swirl above the reef, a spectacular sight that offers the young fish safety in numbers. As they grow older and larger, they become increasingly solitary, each great hunter patrolling its own stretch of water alone. The barracuda is famously drawn to anything that flashes or glints in the water, mistaking a sudden gleam for the silver scales of a fleeing fish, and it will move in to investigate with fearless curiosity. Its speed is extraordinary, with bursts estimated at over 40 kilometers an hour, and combined with that ambush from perfect stillness, it makes the attack almost impossible to escape. By the time its prey senses the danger, the barracuda is already upon it, and the hunt is over before it has truly begun. Curious, fast, and armed with a fearsome set of teeth, the barracuda is the lightning-fast ambush hunter of the Pacific's open water. Patrolling the murky coastal shallows of the Pacific, where few other large sharks venture, is one of the most powerful and adaptable predators in the sea. Aggressive, unpredictable, and built like a heavyweight, it is a shark that breaks one of the ocean's most basic rules. This is the bull shark. The bull shark is a stocky, muscular animal named for its short, blunt snout and its aggressive, headstrong nature. Though not the largest of sharks, it is one of the most powerfully built, and it possesses one of the strongest bites of any shark in the sea relative to its size. It favors shallow, murky coastal waters, where the poor visibility makes it a master of the ambush. But the bull shark has an ability that sets it apart from nearly every other shark on Earth. Most sharks can only survive in salt water, but the bull shark can tolerate fresh water as well. Thanks to a remarkable ability to control the salt balance in its body, it can swim far up rivers, deep inland, appearing in places where no one expects to find a shark at all, hundreds of kilometers from the sea. This unique skill opens up hunting grounds available to almost no other large predator. When it hunts, the bull shark relies on surprise and raw power. Cruising through cloudy, sediment-filled water where its prey cannot see it coming, it closes in unseen before launching a sudden, explosive attack, striking with tremendous force and a powerful, tearing bite. In the murk of the coastal shallows, its victims often never know it is there until the moment it strikes. That ability to enter fresh water serves another purpose too. Female bull sharks often give birth in the calm, shallow waters of river mouths and estuaries, safe from the larger sharks of the open sea, so that their pups can grow up in a nursery no ocean predator can reach. It is a clever strategy, and one that has helped make the bull shark one of the most widespread and successful large sharks in the world. thriving along coastlines and up rivers across the warm waters of the Pacific and far beyond. Powerful, adaptable, and utterly fearless, the bull shark is one of the most formidable and unpredictable hunters in the Pacific. A predator equally at home in the open sea and in waters where no shark should be able to survive. Traveling along the entire length of the Pacific coast, from the ice of the Arctic to the warm lagoons of the south, is a great whale that undertakes one of the longest migrations of any animal on the planet. Its journey is an epic of endurance, and it must run a deadly gauntlet along the way. This is the grey whale. The grey whale is a large baleen whale reaching around 15 meters in length, its mottled grey skin crusted with barnacles and pale patches that make each individual recognizable. It feeds in a way unlike almost any other whale. Rather than straining food from open water, the grey whale dives to the seafloor, rolls onto its side, and sucks up great mouthfuls of mud and sediment, filtering out the tiny shrimp-like creatures living within it and leaving trailing plumes of mud rising behind it as it feeds. But the grey whale is best known for its extraordinary migration. Each year, it travels between its rich feeding grounds in the cold northern seas and the warm, sheltered lagoons far to the south, where it breeds and gives birth, a round trip that can cover some 20,000 kilometers. Few animals on Earth journey so far. And that journey is perilous, for the grey whale does not travel alone. Shadowing the migration, waiting along the route, are pods of orcas, and their favored target is the young. When orcas find a mother and her calf, they attack in a coordinated assault, working together to separate the calf from its mother and to exhaust it, trying to drown it by holding it beneath the surface. The mother fights back with everything she has, using her huge body and powerful tail to shield her calf and fend off the attackers in a desperate battle that can last for hours. Many calves are lost, but many are saved by the sheer determination of their mothers. There is a strange twist to the grey whale's story. Hunted almost to extinction in centuries past, it fought back so fiercely against the boats that pursued it that whalers came to call it the devil fish. And yet today, in the very same warm lagoons where they gather to give birth, grey whales have become astonishingly gentle, often approaching small boats entirely of their own accord, even lifting their calves toward the surface as though to show them off, and allowing people to reach out and touch them. It is one of the most remarkable reversals in all of nature. Ancient, enduring, and traveling further than almost any creature alive, the grey whale is one of the great wanderers of the Pacific. There is one animal in the Pacific that fears nothing at all. It hunts everything from fish to seals to the greatest whales in the sea, and it has even learned to kill the most feared predator in the ocean. Intelligent, powerful, and working in coordinated family groups, it is the undisputed ruler of the sea. This is the orca. Despite often being called the killer whale, the orca is in fact the largest member of the dolphin family, with males reaching 9 meters in length and weighing up to 6 tons. It is instantly recognized by its striking black and white markings and its tall dorsal fin, and there is no animal in the ocean that hunts it. The orca sits at the very top of the food chain. In the Pacific, orcas live in distinct groups with entirely different ways of life. Some specialize in hunting fish, following the great salmon runs, while others hunt only marine mammals, preying on seals, sea lions, dolphins, and the calves of the great whales. These groups do not mix, and each has its own dialect of calls, its own traditions, and its own hunting techniques passed down through the generations like a culture. But the most astonishing of all is what some Pacific orcas have learned to do to the great white shark. In a series of remarkable events, orcas have been seen hunting and killing great whites, the ocean's most famous predator. Working together, they ram and flip the shark onto its back, which puts it into a strange, trance-like state of paralysis, known as tonic immobility. Held upside down and unable to move, the helpless shark can no longer breathe, and the orcas then extract and eat its huge, nutrient-rich liver with surgical precision, often leaving the rest of the body behind. So effective is this that the mere presence of these orcas can drive every great white shark from an area for months. The heart of orca society is the family, led by the oldest females. These matriarchs can live for many decades, and they carry within them the accumulated knowledge of where and when to find food. That wisdom is so valuable that orcas are among the very few animals known to live long past the age when they can breed, precisely so that these grandmothers can go on guiding their families. Every hunting technique, from stunning fish with a slap of the tail to snatching seals from the shore, is taught, learned, and handed down, a living culture shared across the generations. Intelligent beyond measure, endlessly adaptable, and capable of killing even the great white itself, the orca is the supreme hunter of the Pacific and one of the most formidable predators the world has ever known. We end our journey in the deep, and the animal that rules it is the largest predator on the face of the earth, a hunter that dives into a black, crushing world we can barely reach to do battle with a monster. This is the sperm whale. It is a giant. A large male can reach 20 meters long and weigh over 50 tons, making it the biggest toothed predator on the planet. Nearly a third of that length is its enormous square head, and inside it sit 2 record-breaking wonders, the most powerful sound-producing organ in all of nature, and the largest brain of any animal that has ever lived, 5 times the size of our own. That great head makes the sperm whale the loudest animal on Earth. Its clicks are so intense that focused into a beam, they can find prey across vast distances in total darkness. and some scientists believe they may even be strong enough to stun it. Armed with this living sonar, the whale hunts where no light has ever reached. For the sperm whale dives deeper than almost anything alive, plunging beyond 2,000 meters and holding its breath for well over an hour as it sinks into the freezing black. And down there, it goes hunting a legend, the giant squid. No human has ever witnessed the battle, but we can read its aftermath. For the skin of an old sperm whale is often scarred with round marks left by the thrashing suckers of a giant squid seized in the dark. A war between titans fought kilometers beneath the waves, and one last part of its story reads like myth, yet is entirely true. In the age of whaling, great sperm whales were recorded turning on the ships that hunted them, ramming the wooden hulls with their massive heads and sinking them outright. One such attack, here in the Pacific, inspired one of the most famous stories ever written. Immense, intelligent, and carrying the largest brain on Earth, the sperm whale is the perfect guide to the dark and mysterious heart of the Pacific, and a fitting end to our journey. There is nowhere else on Earth quite like the Pacific. It is the largest and the deepest ocean on the planet. A world so vast that it could swallow every continent whole, and so rich that it holds more life than we may ever fully understand. From the intelligent octopus on the reef, to the swirling bait balls of the open sea, to the great whales diving into the crushing dark, every animal here is a masterpiece, perfectly shaped by life in the greatest ocean of all. And everything we have seen is bound together into a single, connected system. The tiny sardine that feeds nearly everything above it, the hunters that keep the shoals on the move, the great whales whose journeys span the entire ocean. Pull on any single thread and the effects ripple outward through the whole. But even an ocean this vast is not beyond our reach. Overfishing, pollution, and a warming, changing climate are placing greater pressure on the Pacific than ever before, threatening the delicate balance of life within it. What happens to this ocean matters to the entire planet, for the Pacific helps to shape the weather, the climate, and the very air we breathe. And yet, there is real reason for hope. The ocean has an extraordinary ability to recover when it is given the chance, and all around the world, people are working to protect it. As long as the great whales still cross its depths, and the reefs still teem with life, and the bait balls still swirl beneath the waves, there will be something here worth protecting, worth treasuring, and worth returning to. Thank you for taking this journey with us. Thank you so much for watching Wild Pacific: Secrets of the Great Ocean. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new documentary. Leave a comment below and tell us which animal you found most fascinating. See you on the next journey.